Hey single ladies, I am back with another video. This particular video is prompted by the New York Times post related to the California wildfires and how landlords are price gouging on the rents. Sad, right? And I'm going to try my best to maintain my composure and not let this video become a rant or anything like that. But here in the financial space, these are the things that we talk about: the good, the bad, and the ugly. The first thing I want to say is it's absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I mean, you see all these different stories of people coming together in Cali, people really leaning on their communities. Really, you're seeing the humanity, and that's the upside of it. And that's what you hope that 99% is what you're going to see. But good old capitalism, there always will be opportunists. There will always be people that strive to turn a profit by any means necessary. And unfortunately, housing is one of those opportunities. I say all of that, setting up the intro to lead into the fact that I advocate for home ownership. And I advocate for home ownership for several reasons. I know that, in recent years, there has been more and more messaging geared towards encouraging people to remain forever renters. And there is a time and a place for that, definitely, when you are younger, when you are unsettled. However, long term, there are some securities when you do home ownership right. And not even just going off past practices or past wealth building techniques and things of that sort. I mean, it is a fact that homeowners have more wealth than renters. That is a fact. You can Google that and you can see. I believe the most recent statistics was saying that the net worth of the average homeowner was like $400,000 compared to that of a renter to be $10,000. $400,000 compared to $10,000. So I mean, that's just the numbers, and that again. That's just kind of looking in reverse, right? But looking towards the future, which I feel like a lot of people don't factor into the equation when they're just giving the messages, for people to remain renters and stuff like that. There's a housing shortage. Like, after that whole situation happened in the 2008 housing crises and stuff like that, and we had that recession, builders stopped building. There is truly a housing shortage. And not only that, I want to say the numbers are possibly between like 4 to 7 million homes that are short. And then if we're talking about affordable housing, make sure when you're looking at those numbers that you kind of hone down and specify which niche of housing you're talking about. But affordable housing, it's like a shortage of like 3 million. So, when someone is telling you don't become a homeowner, they're also not mentioning the fact that they're pushing you to be in this rat race. Also, when it comes to people that will be forever trying to secure housing. Homelessness and housing insecurity is nothing to play with. Nothing to play with. And as they continue to encourage, poor people, minority people, middle class working people not to become homeowners or whatever, they're making you forever renters that are at their mercy. And in turn, what security are you getting? Because you cannot tell me the wealthy and the 1% are going to stop buying real estate. They're absolutely not. They're absolutely not. So, if you are in a position to become a homeowner or to create a plan so that you can be one, if it's a 5-year plan, if it's a 10-year plan, if it is you relocating somewhere where, you may not necessarily be from so that you can be a homeowner, I highly encourage you to do it so that you won't be in with a pool of people that are really going to feel the wrath of the housing shortage as it continues to manifest and just rear its ugly head. And, also one of the talking points that people will always mention, and we're just talking about a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. A lot of times the mind frame is, okay, you'll lock in a constant rate. Your mortgage won't increase. And yes and no. The mortgage on the loan itself, that amount does not change. The amount that you pay in taxes and the amount that you may pay in your insurance, which will affect your monthly payments, yes, those items are subject to change. But guess what? When your landlord gets ready to renew your lease, there's a possibility there may be a rental increase. So, pick your poison. Either you're going to lock in, your principal balance and you'll have the fluctuating costs of your real estate taxes and your homeowner's insurance taxes. Or guess what? You'll be paying for the rental, whatever your monthly agreement is, or the term of it, 6 month or 9 month, whatever. But guess what? Surprise, surprise. Every single time that lease is up, you're at the mercy of your landlord. You're at the mercy of your landlord. So, in my opinion, you're in the same boat. You're in at least with the insurance, you can shop around which insurance company you want to be with, and you can try to get the best rate. At least with, your property taxes and stuff like that, you can do appeals through your local county or whatever, your municipality may be. You can do appeals, or, you can get homeowners exemptions or senior citizens exemptions, or, some places even offer exemptions for homeowners that have disabilities or that have been veterans or something like that. There are other factors that can go in to not having to take the full brunt of whatever that increase may be. But if a landlord just says they want to increase the rent by 124%, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And what kind of stability is that if you're constantly moving every freaking year because you got landlords that want to price gouge? We saw this happen during the pandemic. We saw how they changed up with rental criteria during the pandemic. All of a sudden, if you worked like the gig economy and stuff, they were discriminating against that type of pay. They were asking, what kind of job do you have? If you were something in the service industry, a waiter, or maybe the hospitality industry, they pretty much, during the pandemic, they only wanted to rent to you if they knew you were an essential employee. Totally just abruptly changed the game. And with the housing shortage and with situations like these wildfires, you will continuously see how different landlords will forever move the goalpost to their financial advantage to line their pockets, depending on the scenario. I hate to fearmonger, but it is stories like these, when you see these happening, that can motivate you to get your financial house in order and can help debunk some of the messaging that is out here, so that, because who talks about that? Price gouging when it comes to rent, right? Everyone's talking about with when if you rent forever, you can always move. You're not locked in for 30 years. But there's also consequences for not being locked in for 30 years. Every single time the landlord decides that he wants to do something to further line his pockets, you're at that landlord's mercy. And I absolutely hate it. It is truly sad that people that are displaced right now, and these are the ones that are fortunate enough to have the expenses to, immediately go and try to find housing. But guess what? They got a whole new curveball that they have to deal with because of price gouging. And maybe they may create some laws or something like that to make this illegal. Maybe they may eventually, as they see a pattern, unfortunately, it has to almost be a pattern, and enough people have to write their senators, write their representatives and stuff like that for basically them to implement some kind of policy to stop stuff like this from happening. But it's going to take a long time. And it'll just be, like I said in the short that I posted, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Because they're changing the goal every single time. This is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Yeah, New York. I'm going to go ahead and post this article in the description. But yeah, the New York Post. Wildfires haven't even... They're literally still going. Literally still going. Something like 250,000 people have been displaced. And instead of some of these landlords being some good neighbors, being some good Samaritans, no, they're going to take away. They're going to take from the situation and they're going to profit. Meanwhile, so many people get messages telling them, don't own, be a forever renter. If you're young, if you're job hopping, if you are exploring opportunities from state to state and you haven't fallen in love with a dream city, that is one thing. But if you're nearing the place of, truly being at that mid-career level and you see how much money you are spending every single time that you pay movers and pay a security deposit, it adds up. It truly does add up. And you'll be a forever renter. And these landlords are just doing this type of stuff. And at any moment's notice, they can decide they don't want to do maintenance. And let's hope, let's also think about this factor, right? So many corporations are bought up properties during the pandemic, and you're calling to complain about some maintenance that you need done in your apartment, and you're just a number. You're just a number, and you aren't even calling a real human being. And, so how's that dynamic when you truly are one of 500 tenants? How's that dynamic when you go and you attempt to try to complain or report your landlord or something like that, and it's you against their team of attorneys? That's another factor, into the whole rent versus home ownership. It's you against a corporation. It's literally you against a corporation. At least with being a homeowner and, you're making your payments to the corporation, you already know that you're responsible for your own maintenance. You know that there's a possibility that your insurance may go up. You know that there's a possibility that as your county assesses your taxes and assesses your home value, that your property taxes could possibly increase. But how many can anticipate the emotional whims of a landlord that sees a natural disaster as the opportunity to increase rents by 124%? I digress. I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. Until then, be happy and continue to be financially savvy, ladies. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe.